There's a quiet assumption floating around most societies that intelligence is a golden ticket. That if you're smart enough, everything else will eventually fall into place. Good grades will lead to a good college, which will lead to a good job, which will lead to a good life. It sounds neat, logical, and comforting. And yet, if you look closely at the world around you, this story falls apart fast. You'll see brilliant people stuck in jobs they hate, constantly overlooked, underpaid, and frustrated. You'll see average students running companies, building influence, and shaping outcomes. Somewhere along the way, reality stopped matching the promise. Intelligence, it turns out, doesn't guarantee success, and sometimes it quietly works against it. One reason this mismatch exists is because intelligence often gets mistaken for preparedness. Being quick to understand concepts or solve abstract problems feels like being capable in the real world, but life doesn't reward understanding alone. It rewards execution, timing, persistence, and emotional control. Many intelligent people grow up praised for their mental ability, not their effort. They learn early that thinking well is enough. So when they hit environments where progress is slow, messy, political, or unfair, they feel betrayed. They expect recognition to arrive automatically, and when it doesn't, motivation slips. Intelligence can make you aware of what should happen, but success demands that you keep moving even when it doesn't. Another uncomfortable truth is that intelligence often creates overthinking. Smart minds tend to see multiple angles, risks, and second-order effects. That sounds like an advantage, and sometimes it is, but it can also paralyze action. While others move forward with imperfect information, the intelligent person waits, refines, and delays. They want clarity before commitment. They want certainty before risk. But life rarely offers certainty. Opportunities come wrapped in ambiguity. The people who win are often the ones who act early and adjust later, not the ones who wait until every variable is mapped. Intelligence sees the complexity. Success requires tolerance for chaos. There's also the issue of ego, though it rarely looks like arrogance on the surface. For many intelligent people, their identity becomes fused with being the smart one. Failure feels more threatening because it doesn't just mean a mistake, it feels like a contradiction of who they are. So they avoid situations where they might look incompetent. They stick to familiar domains where their intelligence shines instead of stepping into arenas where beginner mistakes are unavoidable. Growth demands looking foolish for a while. Intelligence, when tied too tightly to self-worth, makes that process emotionally expensive. Success also depends heavily on social dynamics, and this is where intelligence alone often falls short. Understanding people is not the same as connecting with them. You can read the room perfectly and still fail to influence it. You can have the best idea in the meeting and still be ignored if you don't communicate it in a way others can receive. Success flows through trust, likability, timing, and alignment, not just correctness. Many highly intelligent individuals underestimate how much progress happens through relationships rather than merit. They assume truth speaks for itself. In reality, truth needs a voice, a context, and often a coalition. Then there's discipline, the most unglamorous factor of all. Intelligence loves novelty. It enjoys learning new things, solving new problems, and jumping between interests. But success is built on repetition, doing the boring, uncomfortable, unexciting work long after the curiosity fades. Average people with strong discipline often outperform smarter peers simply because they keep showing up. Intelligence may open doors, but discipline is what keeps you inside the room when things stop being interesting and start being hard. Another trap intelligence creates is the illusion of future payoff. Smart people often believe that because they could succeed, they eventually will. Potential becomes a psychological safety net. It delays urgency. Why rush when you know you're capable? Why settle when something better will surely come? This mindset quietly erodes momentum. Success rewards those who treat time as limited, not those who assume their abilities will save them later. Intelligence can make you comfortable waiting. Life rewards those who move. Failure itself plays a strange role here. People who rely heavily on intelligence often experience fewer failures early in life. School systems reward quick comprehension, not resilience. So when failure eventually arrives, and it always does, it feels catastrophic. Others, who struggled earlier, learned how to recover. They built emotional calluses. They learned that setbacks aren't verdicts, just feedback. Success belongs to those who can absorb failure without letting it define them. Intelligence doesn't teach that lesson by default. There's also the problem of misaligned incentives. Intelligence often leads people towards safe, respectable paths, degrees, credentials, structured careers. These paths reduce risk but also cap upside. Meanwhile, many high-impact opportunities live in uncertain spaces: entrepreneurship, creative work, leadership roles with no clear playbook. Average people are sometimes more willing to gamble because they don't see as many reasons not to. Intelligence spots the flaws. Courage decides whether to move anyway. Perhaps the most ironic part is that intelligence can reduce hunger. When things come easily, urgency fades. When praise arrives early, drive weakens. Struggle, on the other hand, creates desire. People who had to fight for understanding often develop grit, patience, and humility. They learn how to work when motivation is gone. Success is not a test of how fast you can think. It's a test of how long you can endure without quitting. None of this means intelligence is useless. Far from it. Intelligence is a powerful tool, but only when paired with action, humility, emotional regulation, and persistence. It helps you learn faster, adapt quicker, and see patterns others miss. But it doesn't push you out of bed when things feel pointless. It doesn't make hard conversations easier. It doesn't replace consistency. Intelligence amplifies whatever habits you attach to it. If those habits include avoidance, overthinking, and entitlement, intelligence accelerates stagnation. The people who succeed are rarely the smartest in the room. They're the ones who keep moving when the room gets uncomfortable. They're willing to be wrong, to look slow, to fail publicly, and to try again without drama. They don't wait to feel ready. They don't need guarantees. They build momentum through imperfect action and let learning happen along the way. If intelligence doesn't guarantee success, what does? Nothing guarantees it. But certain traits dramatically increase the odds: emotional resilience, disciplined execution, social awareness, and the willingness to act before confidence arrives. Intelligence becomes dangerous only when it convinces you that you're entitled to outcomes you haven't earned yet. The real shift happens when intelligent people stop asking, "Why isn't this working for me?" and start asking, "What am I avoiding because I'm afraid of failing?" That question changes everything. It moves intelligence out of the role of identity and into the role of tool. And when intelligence finally serves effort instead of replacing it, success stops being mysterious. So if you've ever felt frustrated watching less intelligent people move ahead, don't assume the world is unfair. Assume the rules are different than you were taught. Intelligence opens the door, but walking through it, day after day, without applause, is what decides the outcome. The moment you stop relying on how smart you are and start committing to how consistently you act is the moment intelligence finally starts paying dividends. And if this perspective hit uncomfortably close to home, that's a good sign. It means you're ready to upgrade how you use your intelligence instead of waiting for it to rescue you. Success isn't impressed by how sharp your mind is. It responds to what you do when thinking is no longer enough.